good with it, y'all? Welcome to another edition of Gen Sports Corner, back at you for July 27th, 2022. I'm your host, Jen. This is my co-host, Ryan.
What's going on, everyone?
We're going to get into it, man. You see the hat. You see the gear right now. Day one of training camp, 2022. A lot of news and notes. So let's go right into it. So let's talk about what happened in practice, how Jalen Hurts looked, the good, the bad. What were your thoughts on the stats he put up? Let's go ahead and run through them real quick.
I thought it was pretty positive. He was 12-15, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. A really nice play that Marcus Epps made on the pick. Apparently, it was just a really nice play. And apparently, his red zone efficiency seemed improved from some of the reports I read. So that's a very positive sign because I think last year that's one of the things that he really struggled with was in the end zone. So I think that's a positive, especially, that's one area he improved in. So, I'm just looking to see, his accuracy, how's his accuracy going to be, because how's that going to be, his decision-making to reading defenses, it's all about that too. But, I was very happy to hear he improved in red zone. Also, who else? Devontae Smith, and I heard him and AJ Brown had a good chemistry in practice today. That's awesome to hear. So, yeah, I'm really excited, man. See that happen in training camp this early. Him look like that. Yeah, I'm ready, man.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. So that was a good thing. So overall, the takeaway was that he looked good. He looked solid. He had some good moments. Had some notable mistakes, which we'll talk about.
Mm-hmm.
He had a good pass over the middle to Kenny Gainwell in the first pass of camp on 11-on-11s, and then he hit AJ Brown on the left flat for a score shortly after that. So that was good. They did some work in the red zone, and he had a couple of touchdown throws. And Sirianni said before practice, he was talking about how accurate Hurts was in the OTAs, the decision making, and it does look like that's translated to a certain extent. However, there was one play that I noted where he almost threw an interception to Brendan Graham, but Lane Johnson broke it up. So that's one of the ugly plays. I don't want to see that. But all in all, people noted that the chemistry with AJ Brown was pretty apparent early on in the practice today. So that's good. It's good to see that they've been putting in the work this offseason, and they look like they had that rapport already, and they're cool off the field. So like that chemistry's there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So look at that wide receiving core. You have AJ Brown, and then you have obviously Schmitty on the other side, and then Quez Watkins in the slot. That's a very, very good trio right there. I think Quez Watkins is going to be one of the forgotten names, but the speed is going to kill. The speed is going to kill this year. We saw it last year. We saw it last year. And now he's one more year, more seasoned, more experienced, and he has wide receivers to learn from. Like he's learning from Smitty and then AJ Brown, who's one of the best receivers in football. Now, people look at his stats in the past 2 years and say he's had very good years, but he hasn't had back-to-back breakout years. And when you look at AJ Brown, I understand if you're looking at the stats just purely with no context, you would say, he's good, but he's not special. However, if you look at the games, like you actually look at the games, and then you look deeper into the stats, if you look at the yards after catch, he's a yak machine. We're talking about a guy that's 6'1", 230. I mean, he's a running back size, right? You think of Steven Jackson from back in the day with the Rams. He's built the same way damn near, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, and then he's able to pluck the ball out the air pretty well, has good hands. And once he gets rolling, he's a handful to stop. He's a freight train.
Oh, yeah.
So you have AJ Brown, who, if you want to run those RPOs, you want to be a run-heavy team. You have Miles Sanders and Boston Scott, and they just picked up another running back. I can't remember his name, but it's a power back. You want to run that RPO with Jalen Hurts. Now you have a legitimate threat, not just for that, but for the slants and whatnot, and AJ Brown. He's going to catch the ball and he's going to get you the first down. And best case scenario, he's going to break a tackle and take it for 40, 60, 80 yards to the house. So you have that threat you have to worry about. And then on the other side of the field, you have Smitty, who can absolutely leave people with the route running. And then you have Quest to take the top off. So you have a full complement of wide receivers for Jalen Hurts to work with. And if he truly has improved accuracy, then this offense is going to be very, very good because the offensive line is stacked right now. Right?
Yeah.
So you can look at the offensive line from right to left. Lane Johnson, one of the best right tackles in football. Lane Dickerson might eventually be your center of the future. Jason Kelsey in the middle, the stalwart, the rock. Sayamalu coming back healthy at left guard, and then obviously Jordan Mailata at left tackle. So you have a very, very strong offensive line who's just one more year experience playing with each other, and they're healthy. So, and then let's not forget Dallas Goedert. So they have a lot of things to work with, and in my opinion, my expectations are high. They have a lot of to live up to, from my standpoint.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But there's also another question mark we got to think about here too. Is forgot to mention Miles Sanders. How's he going to perform this year? Because he's been seen to be injury prone. He can't stay on the field, so he has something. He has a chip on his shoulder to prove this year as well. When you got him. So if he can be effective, just imagine how much better that's going to make everybody else. So it's also something to note.
Like that's huge. Is this a make or break season for him? Because I don't remember if it's a contract year, but it's coming up soon, and he's not going to get re-signed if he doesn't have a substantial year this year, right? Being impactful. Because, like you said, he's been injury prone, but this is a run heavy offense, so he's going to get more than his fair share of opportunities.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he's really gonna have to step it up this year, and and if he stays healthy, I think he can be a huge factor in this offense, and I think it'll be big. But the best ability is availability, so we'll have to see.
Right, exactly. So, two more notes from the offense before we switch over to defense. Quez Watkins had a really good back shoulder catch from Hurts in the end zone over Avonte Maddox, out-muscled him. So people just think of him as a speed demon. Nah, he can go up and track the ball, high-pointed. I really liked hearing that. And then Devonta Smith completely left the cornerback, quick inside release, and then had a drop. So very uncharacteristic. He hit the ground, did a couple push-ups. Then he came back later, and he almost had a one-handed catch against McPherson, couldn't haul it in. So, a little rust, but I'm not concerned about him too much.
No, not at all. No.
So offensively, we saw a few things, and mind you, this practice was only 58 minutes. It's really a light practice.
First one too.
Exactly, and then Jason Kelsey was out with CVID, and a couple other guys were out. So we'll see how things play out in the next couple of days. But let's go ahead and flip it to defense. I really am interested to see how the safety position battle plays out, because you have Tart, who just came in, Jaquiski Tart, free agent signings. He's running with the second team guys, because your first team starters are Marcus Epps right now and Anthony Harris. I don't remember why he's not practicing right now, but as of right now, I guess your strong safety is Kayvon Wallace. And they were saying Kayvon Wallace did not have a strong start. I'm curious to see how long it takes for Jaquiski Tart to be able to segue his way into the starting lineup, because I liked him as a safety with the 49ers. I mean, he had a solid year last year, good in coverage. He can lay a hit on a receiver. So I want to see him step up and grab that job.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm with it, man. Definitely, especially that safety position right now is probably my really only concern, to be quite honest. Everything else looks pretty solid. We finally got some linebackers. But it's just nice to see finally Howie Roseman grabs a linebacker in the draft. Someone who we me and you both want it, so, yeah, Nakobe Dean. So it's going to be huge. So, we'll have to see. But, I think the defense is going to be really, really good this year.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see that linebacking core because, like you said, we got Nakobe Dean, and then you picked up Kaiser White from the Chargers. Had an excellent year, a lot of tackles last year, and the third linebacker, damn, I'm just slipping my mind. But you got two bona fide guys there.
Sean Bradley, is it?
Yeah, I think it's Sean Bradley. And then you have that defensive front, and they drafted another guy in the draft, and that's important because today they said that the Eagles defense came out under Gannon in a 4-3 and a 3-4 front, so they were switching it up. There were times where Brandon Graham was standing up versus having his hand in the 3-point stance. So I'm be curious to see how often they kind of switch fronts because that's going to be huge. Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, stand up rushers at times, and Javon Hargrave being moved out and used as a 3-4 end while Jordan Davis uses the nose tackle. They have a lot of flexibility up front. A lot of flexibility.
It's scary, bro. Like these, the D tackles they got on this squad, man. It's just.
I mean, think about that.
You got Hargrave.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like you have that, like you're saying, you got that much flexibility. Like it's just crazy to think. And then and if Jordan Davis ever gets gassed, you can always put him on the bench for a minute. Like you look at the flexibility you have.
Exactly.
So
exactly. I mean, you think about it. You can have, even if Jordan Davis is on the sideline, you can have Hargrave at nose tackle, Fletcher Cox at one of the defensive end slots, and then at outside linebacker, you have Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham standing up. There's so many rushers, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I hear I'm encouraged to hear about Brandon Graham too. He's 100% healthy. He was saying, and he seems like he's ready to go. So hopefully, that Achilles tendon didn't affect him too much.
Yeah, so that's huge. You have Nakobe Dean in the middle, whether it's a 3-4 or 4-3. And then you can have Sweat and Graham on the outside as stand-up rushers. Is being able to rush from a 3-4 stance, outside linebacker stance, is going to give you a lot of leverage on the tackles, right? And then when you have monsters up front where you can have the flexibility to do that, like I said, Jordan Davis, he's a space eater regardless of whether you're up in a 4-3 or a 3-4 front. He's going to eat up two blockers.
Oh, for sure.
And then if Javon Hargraves and or Fletcher Cox is one or two of your defensive ends, that's insane, bro.
It's insane.
You know how many one-on-one matchups you're going to have? If you have Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Hargraves, Brandon Graham, and Sweat, they all have to be one-on-one. They all have to be matched up one-on-one.
Scary, bro. It's I feel bad for defensive coordinators, but at the same time, I don't.
Yeah, the pieces are starting to come together. I love it. And then obviously you look at the cornerback situation. James Bradbury, Slay. Don't call him Darius. It's Slay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wants to be called. You know what I mean? He's playing like that. I'll call him whatever he wants to be called. And then you have Avonte Maddox in the slot. And then hopefully, in my estimation, I would like to see Tart be one of the safeties alongside Marcus Epps. And I think you'd have a very solid secondary along with the monster front. And then
for sure, man.
Rock out from there.
Absolutely. Especially when you have the corner position seems like it's pretty good. And then, you got how do you feel about Avonte Maddox, man? Truthfully.
I love him in the slot. That's where I think he's best at, is where he should have always been at. So
and then Bradbury, I heard Bradbury was pretty good last year too. He was he's a solid man-to-man corner. He's good in zone. So I mean, the only position, like you were saying, is the safety position. Honestly, I think we even got that filled, with Tart, but Marcus Epps is probably my biggest question, just to see what he can do, because now he's got a bigger role.
Right. So if that front seven is doing what they need to do, then the safety position is not going to be as big of
Yeah,
concern,
yeah,
especially
because
when your
yeah,
cornerbacks are really, really, really good. You know what I mean?
yeah, a good front can make a secondary look even better.
Yeah, a la the 2008 Giants.
Yeah, exactly. So
Secondary is average, but they had Antonio Pierce, a linebacker that could go sideline to sideline and cover the tight end, and then they had that rotation of 4 to 5 guys up front with the NASCAR front. So they were able to go to the Super Bowl with that.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna be it's definitely gonna be a fun year. I
Yeah.
definitely gotta, I don't mean to jump the gun, but I think we can win the East.
Oh, I would be disappointed if we did not win the East. I
Yeah.
think that we are the most complete team in the NFC East. I did not feel that way last year. I thought we would win 9 games last year, but I did not think we would win the division last year. That was my call. This
Yeah.
year, I believe we are pound for pound outside of the quarterback position. We're better than the Cowboys.
Oh, without question.
Right. So, you have Dak Prescott, who is the best quarterback in the division. But outside of that, they don't have anything that they're really superior on across the board. I mean, it would have been wide receiver, but now you got AJ Brown in there and an advanced Devonta Smith that changes everything.
Oh yeah, for
It's night
sure.
and day, night and day.
It's night and day. It's right. And
Yeah,
it's just amazing how scary this squad is, man. Like AJ Brown and Devontae Smith together, just for Howie Roseman to pull that move in the first round of the draft and go ahead and get AJ Brown. This is huge for us. So for the fact we have that tandem along with Dallas Goddard as our tight end, it's just and then we forget about Quez Watkins. I don't even think it off the top of my head because it's like you got all these weapons and it's like, what's Quiz going to do? This can open up, and, it's going to be huge for Quiz. They have an even better year. So I'm really excited.
I look forward to Quez being similar to what Azahir Hakim was for the greatest show on turf.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
obviously, we're not saying that AJ Brown and Devonta Smith are a tandem like Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce. However,
no.
we don't. It's yet to be seen where they're going to stand in terms of the best duos in the NFL. But we already seen what AJ Brown can do. We've already seen what Devonta Smith can do. So it's not an unknown.
Nah, not at all. It's pick your poison. Double. It's going to be hard to double, because you're either going to have to double AJ or Devontae. And honestly, Stan, who are they doubling? Who?
Right.
Pick your poison.
And if you double them, then now you have Goddard with a one-on-one and Quez Watkins getting one-on-ones.
Yeah, it opens up so much on that field, and that's what's so important for that offense, and it helps Hurts huge. It's even going to give Hurts sometimes where he's going to be able to run like he's going to have lanes like crazy sometimes because there's so much attention to these receivers. So he might even get some openings from time to time, because
Yes.
he's going to be forgotten about. But I'm really excited, man. It's just crazy how good this offense looks on paper.
Yeah, exactly. So just great all the way around. It's just really, what? Last note is that it's great to see Brandon Graham a full goal training camp. Coming off that Achilles tear.
Oh,
To
for
see him
sure, man.
back healthy it's a big boost to this Eagles defense and this team because he's a leader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's genuine dude, man. From what you were telling me, anyway, too.
Oh yeah, one of the most genuine. I would say celebrity / athletes that I've met.
Yeah.
You talk to BG and you don't feel like he's just giving small talk or short answers or surface level responses. Nah, he's genuinely happy to talk to everybody and have a full conversation with. Like I learned so much just talking to him, just about him as a person, his personality, like how the team, like the pulse of the team going into that Super Bowl year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, man, people watching this episode, if you've never met Brandon Graham, he's exactly who he is when you look at the mic'd up for NFL films. Like you see like him talking trash or like constantly chirping, smile on his face, like just radiant energy. Like that's him. Like this really is him. And guys like that are infectious. When you have that personality and you can back it up with your play, you got to have guys like that on your team.
I love BG though. Like, just the video me and you were watching when you were over here, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, 7 full. I seen you on film, boy.
Yeah, boy.
He was like, you don't know, dog. He's funny as hell. But I love that though. Like, to see that passion and just that grit. Like he's everything you want as your leader. Like, you can't ask for a better leader than BG, other than maybe Brian Dawkins, obviously, but he's in a whole nother category. But like, let's just be honest, he's just a phenomenal leader.
Exactly. Come on. There's a reason why when the defense need a big play in the most crucial moment of any of those guys' careers up to that point, who just completely obliterates Shaq Mason and gets the strip sack on Tom Brady? Of course, it's going to be Brendan Graham.
Oh, absolutely. It's hard.
Yeah. So it's nice to see football back in full swing. We got the first day out the way, and let's see what happens tomorrow. You know what I mean? So that's what's going on with the Eagles. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Leave your thoughts. What do you think the over/under on the Eagles season is going to be? Do you think they're going to win the division? In the next episodes, we'll talk about over/under for wins. Now, I'll have more of a determination on that as I see how they look in training camp. So that's what's going on for the Sixers. Before we move out from football, let's talk about some of the moves that's been being made around the league. In particular, Julio Jones joining that group down in Tampa, man.
Ooh. Oh, man. Do you think this team couldn't get any more stacked? You got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin, you got Leonard Fournette on that offense. It's just like, and now you got Julio Jones. Is this team like a cheat code or what? Like, it's just wild to see. Like, yeah, he's injury prone, but you know what? You have him healthy on that field with those group of receivers, forget about it. I don't know who's going to beat him. Like, that's just not fair, bro. Like, we all know what Julio Jones can do. Like, that's insane. Just insane.
Yeah. Not only are they top heavy, you got Julio Jones, Chris Godwin coming back healthy, and then Mike Evans. But look at the depth, man. If your fourth receiver is what? Scotty Miller, and then who's the other guy?
I forget. I know here.
I'm telling you, like their depth. They have their backup receivers that could be starting like number 2 receivers on some teams.
Oh, absolutely.
Like they're damn near injury proof in the receiving core, on top of being front loaded.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they have stacked themselves just like the Rams have this year. You bring in Bobby Wagner at middle linebacker to that defense.
That's pretty wild, man.
And then you replace Odell Beckham Jr. with Allen Robinson. Like they're staying with it, man. They're on top of their game.
Yeah, got to, man. That team is stacked to the gills.
Those are the two teams that I'm looking at right now, because Green Bay, it took a hell of a hit sending Mr. Adams over to my Raiders, man.
I mean, good for y'all, though. Shit, you got probably the best receiver in the game.
Yeah. Look, truth be told, I'm trying to hit up that third preseason game when I go out to Vegas.
Yeah.
So I can travel to Mecca and see what they look like. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That'll be a good time for you.
Yeah, they're stacked on offense. Come on, man. Devontae Adams, and you have top 2 tight end in football and Darren Waller. Who the hell are they going to double?
Pick your poison. And then you got Jacobs as your running back. Like, yep. Your offense is damn good, bro. I think you guys are going to have a hell of a year.
Yes, I'm excited about the Eagles. The Eagles and the Raiders just went out and fixed their receiving cores in the blink of an eye overnight. Because we were both suffering because neither one of us had a number 1 receiver. We were talking about this last year. And then not only do you address that, you lose Henry Ruggs just to go ahead and trade for Devontae Adams, which is crazy. Yeah, and then you go out and respond to your detractors as the Eagle organization by going out and not just getting the guy. No, you get AJ Brown.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Brown, 24-year-old wide receiver going into his prime, who's already made shockwaves in the NFL up to this point.
That's huge, man. Yeah, kudos to Howie Roseman for finally not messing up this draft, bro.
That's a great compliment. Like Schmitty and AJ Brown could be your wide receiver duo for years to come, for a decade to come. That's what we're talking about here. So we're not going to get ahead of ourselves, but that's the window of opportunity we're looking at. Follow what I'm saying, man? Window of opportunity. Window of opportunity.
Absolutely, man. It's
and then the defense going to be out there, you know what I mean? Like the Detroit Lions coach said, we're going to be out there biting kneecaps. You know what I mean? Stealing souls.
Oh yeah. I'm excited, man. It's gonna be a fun year.
Yes. So that's what's going on with football right now. And then let's segue briefly over to basketball. It's been a lot of noise today. There was a picture going around social media, but with James Harden in it. And the hype about it was that he looked in shape. he looked like he's working hard, man. That's a good sign.
Absolutely.
He's starting early.
It's huge. It's huge for the Sixers, man. If you have a consistent James Harden with Joel Embiid, who's already consistent, it's just going to make – it's day and night for this team, man. And it's going to be, you know, because we all saw what James Harden can do. When he's on, he's on. But if he can, you know, get in that tip-top shape, I didn't think he was in that bad of a shape in the first place, you know, when he came there. When we got him, but he's in even better shape now. And if he can get himself on the floor and just being, you know, I know we were talking before about this. His hamstring wasn't right or something before, and then if that truly is the case, and his hamstring is better coming into this coming season, it's just this. Not only that, it's just like we improved our bench, we improved everything. So it's just like. Seems going to be so much better.
Yeah. So we'll see how much of it is him losing a step, if he has or if he hasn't. We don't know. And
we'll find out.
And how much of it, regardless of that, is from the hamstrings.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that was my concern going into and through the playoffs. It looked like he got a little bit of time to rest, but I haven't had a hamstring strain or pull or anything like that. But I just heard that they're just you have to. We've seen it with Odell Beckham. You have to lay off that thing for weeks, sometimes months at a time. Sometimes it never gets right within a year. Like unless you're sitting your behind down.
Yeah, they're nagging.
Yeah,
very nagging.
Have you had one before?
No, I just can. I mean, I guess you can say I can somewhat tell. Yeah. Like it just looks like the type of injury that. It's like it just constantly nags you. Like you try and get yourself right after a couple of weeks, you go back and it's still there, and it's like this thing that just won't go away. It just seems like something that's always gonna like linger at least for a little while. It's just something that you feel like will never go away, but it eventually does. But yeah, I think that's something obviously that would nag the shit out of you.
Yeah, I mean, the worst I've ever had is just like maybe some tightness, like nothing crazy, probably from not stretching enough. But even that is like, it's one of those feelings where, you know, if I really try to push off of this thing, then I'll really hurt it. I can already feel how important this is to my acceleration and my burst. Even without hurting it, you can feel it. So if you hurt it, you already know like you're damn near not even going to be able to walk. Or even like power walk, let alone perform high explosive football movements.
Yeah, because you're constantly on that thing too. Your hamstring, you're always on it. It's just and you're always using it. And it's similar, like I guess you can say that like my core injury. Like it's hard to not use your core, just like it's hard not to use your hamstring. So it's with certain activities, obviously, but. Yeah, I can only imagine.
Right. So hopefully he's healthy. Either way, him being healthy from that is going to make a huge difference in his game because the majority of his game is predicated upon being able to slash to the basket. The handles are still there,
Oh
but
yeah,
when you don't think your legs are there, your handles aren't going to mean much. You'll just be dribbling in place, so to speak.
exactly.
It's going to make you can have really good handles, but still look extraordinary because you cannot move with proper burst from point A to point B.
Exactly.
And you're going to be more prone to getting the ball stripped. You could be handling the ball great, but somebody lunges in to get the ball, you can't even move in response to that to be able to shield the ball away from the defender, like all these little things, these little nuances.
Hmm. Yeah, that's just the way it is. He's not going to have that efficient quickness, and we'll all be able to tell if he either lost a step or was that hamstring. So it'll be really interesting to find out. And I really hope he didn't lose a step, because if he really didn't lose a step and it was that injury, it's going to be huge for us, man. Just
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, I think even if he did lose a step, I still think that if he was injured, even with losing a step, he's going to look a lot faster with two healthy hamstrings, either even being a step slower than he was with a hurt hamstring.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that in itself is going to make a huge difference.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I'm excited to see what they look like. Obviously, you got PJ Tucker. That's an upgrade on the defensive side, along with the three point shooting because he's more consistent. He
Yeah,
can sit in that corner and he can hit that. He's money from there. He's not going to create his own shot. He's not going to do any of those things, but he's going to give you rebounding, aggressiveness, toughness, and 41.3% three-point shot from the corner.
yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And he gives you a championship level pedigree. He doesn't have his ring yet, but he's played on teams with guys that are championship caliber guys. And now he's reunited with James Harden, man. It's the Houston reconnection.
Absolutely. And that'll be huge, once they're together, to see what
Exactly.
they're back to their chemistry. So,
Yeah. So that's what's going on with the Sixers. Let me know what you guys think of that. What do you think about James Harden, the shape he's looking in? Are you with it? Are you against it? Let me know your thoughts. And that's going to wrap it up. That's going to pretty much be it for this episode. We'll be talking about the Eagles tomorrow, day 2 of training camp, and then we're talking about some of the boxing matches that are coming up. Triple J and Canelo coming up in September, and their 24/7 style documentary series leading up into the fight. And then we'll be talking about Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk in the rematch coming up very soon. I believe in August in Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia. So a lot of big fireworks about to happen. But that's it for this episode. Let me know if you guys want to hear any other things I didn't mention. I'm your host, Jen. This is my co-host, Ryan. We're going to get on out of here.
peace.